Welcome back, folks. So, this is right before the new year. Happy New Year, by the way. I hope y'all had an awesome Christmas. I know I did. Didn't hardly do anything. Awesome Christmas. So, I'm sitting there this morning and having my coffee. Checking out the ho-hum stories that pass for news these days. It just gets more ridiculous day by day. How to know if you're unhappy in your job. You need a stinking, probably liberal writer writing for a liberal rag to tell you if you're unhappy at your job. Stuff like that is just. But one did catch my eye. I just read the bird news. Oh, he took it. The nuthouse just took a big old almond out of the feed. I go, dude, I think he's gonna go hide that thing. But anyway, one article caught my eye. Something like major electrical shortages forecasted for 2024 for U.S. and Canada. Wow, really? Major electrical shortages forecaster for Canada and the U.S. in 2024. So this North America Electric Reliability Corporation, NERC, I guess they come out with a forecast and said, up to like 300 million people in the U.S. and Canada, which really isn't a lot when you consider our total population. But anyway, up 300 million people could be affected by shortages in 2024 in the U.S. and Canada. Wow, what's gonna cause that? So I looked ahead and it said something about this escalating. This is due to the escalating widespread use of the tech industry and the electrification of buildings and vehicles. Oh. Whoa, what? Back up again. What? Widespread electrification of buildings and vehicles. Vehicles. Really? I wouldn't have thought there's that many vehicles, but there again, every time you see charging stations, you see people sitting at them. I don't know, how long does it take to charge a vehicle at one of these charging stations you see people sitting at? I fill my tank up full of gas in like a minute and a half, I'm gone. Some of these people, I guess they bring books to read while they're sitting at the charging station. I guess if you forget to do it at home or something, or they don't want to pay for the electric price at home to charge their electric vehicles. I don't know if you have to pay at those charging stations or not. I would think you do, but the hell knows. Anyway, they're contributing. Part of the factor that they're contributing to this shortage they're forecasting is due to vehicles. So let me get this right. We're going to start driving electrical vehicles to save the planet. But yet, the infrastructure is getting weakened by the by the increased use from the tech industry and the electrification of buildings and vehicles. Does that make any sense to anybody else? Really? It is crazy. They went on to say, like I think last year they said that there was an increase of like 77% in attacks on our electrical grid. Physical attacks on our. What constitutes a physical attack? Didn't say in the article. You know, when I think of physical attack, I'm thinking someone physically at the substation or dam or something attacking it. That's what I'm thinking. I'm betting, though, that a lot of this is hackers and stuff. It is what they're constituting a physical hack. So but according to this NERC, big part of this is due to the electrification of vehicles. So here we are putting our electrical grid at risk by using electric vehicles. But we need more of them. We need more. Our infrastructure's straining due in part to the vehicles, but we need more. Again, does this make any sense to anybody? Just, you know, if that doesn't smack you upside the head and say, you better have some alternate plans if you're on grid or you rely on the grid, you had better be prepared to deal with this if you're part of the 300 million. Now, when I look at that, I'm thinking, especially when it mentioned tech, so I'm thinking that the high-tech areas in Texas and California, where they have these plants that are just acres and upon acres large. It's just crazy. I just couldn't get that wrapped around my head. Okay, so we know now that electrical vehicles are part of the problem, but we want more of them because we want to be green. Green, but yet it's going to take more resources, non-green resources, to ensure that we have a green industry. Really? I hate to say it, but you know, part of our problem is when we start taking our nuclear power plants offline. I mean, that's just, whether you agree with it or not, that is part of the problem of our electrical grid problem, which translates into a national security problem. But yet we need more. We need more electric vehicles out there, y'all. We do. Just freaking stupid. So, you know, and this kind of brings me around. This is going to be a subject for another video I've been working on. But you know, even if you live on grid, there are things you can do to prepare you for this when it happens. One thing you can do is learn how to use non-powered tools and stuff. Well, I got electric range. What happens if power goes? I can't cook my food. What's the alternatives to that? Well, I guess I could go get a camp stove. Whatever your alternative is, use it. So don't wait until you need it to learn how to use it. Well, set a camp stove. Well, how do you make it go? Is not the time when you just lost all power and maybe have lost it for weeks. Is not the time to figure out how to use a camp stove or some other alternative fuel to cook or heat your home. Man, them chickadees, man, that nut hatch, they're loving those seeds this morning. Couldn't believe that nut hatch took off with that almond, man. Usually the squirrels come up and get those. But anyway, okay. And what about your water? You know what? If your area loses power, Guess what those pumps at the water place use to run? Not nuclear, not propane. They use electric. So when you lose electric, if your grid in your area goes down, you're going to lose water as well. What are you going to do then? I got a couple bottles of water in the refrigerator. I'm trying to get y'all to think about this. I don't want to say worst case scenario, but worst case scenario. Well, I'll just go down to the store and get it. That's actually some people's thought. Well, if I run out of water, even if I'm not electric, I'll just go down the store and get. When I was after Hurricane Ike, what was that? 2000 and I don't remember. But around 2005, 2006, I think. But we were without power. I lived in Houston at the time. We were without power for weeks afterwards. And even though we had a week or more notice that this thing was, people just, well, they just go down the store and get it. Guess what? That's what most everybody's plan was. Guess what? Go down the store. That's the first time I've ever seen shelves in a Walmart bare with state troopers posted guard outside. State troopers posted guard at gas stations. It looked like something out of a post-apocalypse movie. It really did. With all the state troopers and sheriff's deputies are standing guard around places like that, with shelves buried. Tell you a story. We would go there just to see what is, to see it. We had our food. We were okay. I wasn't really into heavy prepping at that time, but we were into putting some canned foods and stuff like away. Unfortunately, we lost everything in the freezer, most of it. But I was a grilling fool for a few days. But we go into the Walmart, and just about the only food on the shelf is Van Camp's red beans and rice. I said, well, you know when that crap is gone, it's getting desperate. But that was about, the shelves are bare except for a little section of Van Camp's red beans and rice. So anyway, that was so hilarious. But that was just about the only thing on the shelves, food-wise. It was crazy. So these people are telling you ahead of time now. Think of this as a hurricane coming. They're telling you now, here in the U.S. and Canada, they are forecasting electrical shortage for this year, and it will not get any better. It's going to get worse every year from here on out. Well, we'll just build more windmills. Yeah, okay. There's some people you can't help. But obviously, if you're watching this channel, then maybe you're going nuts. And it's a nice day. I don't know why they're all acting like they're starving to death. There's probably 15, 20 of them out there. But we've got this hurricane forecast coming. Only it's not a hurricane. It's an electrical shortage forecast. Me, I'm good. Unless the sun gets put out, I'm good. I have my gas generator. Okay? But really, I only really use that because it's easy and it's cheap right now, or way less expensive than it was. So if I wanted to run something big or charge batteries up quickly or something like that, then I'll start it, or run power tools or something. But other than that, most of my devices are recharged or ran by solar right now. which I know I need to do that video. So I was thinking about redoing it. Every time I think about doing a solar video, I'm thinking about redoing my solar. So I need to get around to do that. But I just want y'all to be aware. Okay, they're warning you now. Okay, they're warning you now. There's a storm brewing, and you're getting the storm watch warnings now. It's coming. They're telling you. Don't sit there until your lights go out and your electric furnace doesn't work and go, well, government, Uncle Sam, Brandon, come save me. Brandon, over here.
9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Okay, again, people do that. Look at after every time a hurricane strikes, people go, well, where did they got nothing? Did you prepare? You had a week to prepare. They told you a week or 2 weeks in advance this thing was coming. Well, we just didn't have time. We don't have the resources everybody else does. We waited on Brandon to come and save us. That's their emergency plan, is waiting for the government to come and save them. Well, I'll tell you about the government after I hit. We lived east of the Woodlands in Texas. Pretty popular. Well, I mean, it wasn't like a city we lived in. We lived in a rural area, but there was a lot of people out there. Guess who got the first FEMA centers? Even though who got their electric back first and still had FEMA centers? Woodlands. Where the rich people like to live. Those people got stuff first. Over in the part of the county we lived in, where the not too pretty people lived and the low income people lived, it was 2 weeks later. The first one showed up 2 weeks later after the one in Woodlands. Even though I would have bet you that population wise, that part, especially over a little farther east than where we were, was more populated than Woodlands. But they still ended up 2 to 3 weeks after the Woodlands. Money didn't play a part in that, did it? Nah, surely not. Surely not. Surely not. Our area, it was about 2 weeks after Woodlands got there. We were almost 3 weeks after that. It was about 3 weeks after that. Just about 4 or 5 days before electric came back on at our place, we got a FEMA center about 2 miles up the road. Water, ice, stuff like that. Can you hold out that long? Ooh, woodpecker fight. Man, they're beautiful. Oh, them red-headed woodpeckers are beautiful in the sun. But can you hold out that long? Can you wait for Brandon and his gang get to you in 3 weeks?
This morning, the humanitarian crisis in Texas is accelerating.
With no electric, if you're not prepared for it, I doubt it. I doubt it. But you're being warned now. Here it is, end of 2023. This is December. Not sure. A couple days left and end of 2023. So that's how, 2023. So you got plenty of warning now. But can you really hold out? Do you have what it would take? Or are you going to be at the mercy of the government or whoever else and do what they tell you to get your little bit of electric and your eyes and your little case of bottled water and, Van Camp red beans and rice? Can you hold out that long? Start preparing now, little by little. You don't have to go out and spend $200 on freeze-dried food, which is a waste, in my opinion. But, start now by buying just a few extra cans of goods, shelf-stable food. If you don't can, 1 or 2 cans every time you go to the store. A little extra put back. Maybe splurge on one of these solar generators, things like a Jackery or EcoFlow or something like that. You don't need a big one. What's happening if you're going to lose your electricity and you can't run your freezer, though? And that's where most of your food is at. Are you able to can it? Do you know how to can? Do you have a canner? Do you have a heat source to power that canner? Do you have a generator? Generators are dirt cheap. Do you have gas saved up for that? This old champion generator, almost going on 5 years now, probably has over 10,000 hours on it. Still starts first time. It'll run, especially in the winter, it'll run 12, 13 hours on a gallon of gas. In summer, with the air conditioner, not quite that long. About 8. It'll run all night long. But what if it's summertime when the demand is great and you lose it? Do you have a way to cool your house? Do you have a way to cool a room? Or are you just going to be out there suffering? Again, you're being told now this thing's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen in 2024, it's going to happen in 2025 or beyond. It will happen sooner or later. I am convinced that because they just cannot add infrastructure fast enough. You know, our government tax dollars just can't subsidize some of these green energy initiatives fast enough to meet the demand. It's going to happen, is what I'm trying to tell you. So, because I know what's going to happen. You do too. Most of y'all do too. When it does happen, people go, "Oh my God, we're going to die. Well, government needs to get in here and help us." Why didn't you help yourself? You were warned. The Kardashians didn't warn you. Al Michaels on Monday Night Football didn't warn you. But you were warned. You just didn't want to pay attention. That's what it is. So I guess when it does happen, and when you got these long lines, kind of like Superdome down there after a hurricane, what was that hurricane? That was before Ike. Should know that. But you know which one I'm talking about. All them people were warned weeks in advance a hurricane coming. Did they prepare? No. We wait for the government to help us. Well, we can't afford to get out of there. It's funny, they couldn't afford to get out of there, but afterwards they could afford to get out of there. Whatever. So, you know, the thing is, I just want y'all to know that they're already telling you it's going to happen. Get prepared. You don't have to, you know, do it all in one day. It's like eating an elephant. If you try to eat a whole elephant at one time, it's not going to happen. You can bite by bite over a period of time. You can do it. And that's all it takes. Just, like I said, a couple cans of food here. Maybe instead of going out to the movies and restaurants and all this, we save and we buy a Jackery or, you know, EcoFlow or something like that can be recharged with solar. Just in case we happen to lose electricity. Maybe we buy a generator. Maybe we buy a couple gas cans, put some gas back. Rotate it out every few months. Keep it fresh. You know, maybe just change it out with your lawnmower gas, you know. It doesn't take much, but it does require you to start. So anyway, it's going to be a short video, and I just get wrapped up in this stuff. I hate to see people suffer, but on the other hand, what nuthatch is that pig? That dude was stuffing it down. The nuthatches, man, they're quite comical little birds. But, you know, I hate to see people suffer. But some of them just, you know, you just want to say, "I told you so." You were too lazy. You were too distracted by what the Kardashians are doing, or you know what my local football team's doing, or whatever. And then when you get slapped upside the head with reality, you're hollering for the government to help you. I can't feel sorry for people like that. It's just can't. You were warned. It's coming. I'm gonna get off here and I might make some coffee. I only had a little bit of coffee this morning. I just, here it's almost noon now. I don't know if I put this video by itself or as a front porch Friday. It's really not Friday, but it is a front porch, and that breeze is cool. But I just, I read that this morning. I'm thinking, how many people are totally freaking unprepared to deal with something like an electrical outage? Maybe for an hour or two, but how about a week or two? No. You know it as well as they ain't prepared for this stuff. And the best thing you do is to help people realize it's coming. You're just a fearmonger. Our electric never goes down. That's what people in Texas said. What was it, 2 years ago when they had the big storm? You seen how they acted? Oh my God. Get the government in here. How could this happen? They were totally unprepared. And they said then that this is going to happen again. Are people getting no? Well, let's go watch the Rangers play. What's Texas doing in the college football? Who's on Austin city limits tonight? Don't care. But boy, you let their electric go out when it's 25 degrees. They start caring real quick. And they want to start blaming everybody else but themselves. That was your wake-up call. They warned y'all then. It's going to happen. They said it's going to happen again. Oh yeah, we'll just call Brandon and come help us. Folks, you know what happens when you wait for them to help you. Better help yourself. I'm going to get off here before I get wound up. Thank y'all for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.